Welcome to Fighting Over Fiction. I'm Will.
I'm Tash.
And I'm Fraz.
And today we're asking, does role models successfully use dual protagonists to tell a coherent story?
Finish her!
I was really surprised when I saw this movie on your list. I was like, role models, as in the noughties comedy. But yeah, here we be.
Yeah, the Naughties comedy.
How are you both? Are you well?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
I am good. I'm having a bit of a week off. I'm having a very lazy week. I'm watching a lot of TV.
Amazing.
Successful.
Yeah. What have you guys been watching this week? Or do you want me to go first because of your panicked faces?
100%.
No, I do have something, actually. I started watching, and I probably will stop watching very quickly, Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Oh, this is the new one.
The brand new one on Paramount.
Are you not enjoying it?
See, it's set after the events of Discovery, and I have to say it's very performative. I've had some very interesting conversations on TikTok with some Fighting Over Fiction followers about Star Trek and how it's changed over the years.
I can't comment because I haven't really watched any Star Trek, but I can imagine it has to change because TV has changed so much.
It does. It's just this is very much geared towards a YA audience, but it is very performative. They have to explain absolutely everything and why they're doing it, and they don't just show something on screen. They have to say it, and they have to have, so for example, they have a tachyon emission. It came up on a screen, they said it, and then it also came up in superimposed text on the screen.
Yeah, well, you have to
it's a bit much.
You have to follow it whilst on your phone as well. Like that's how TV is made now.
I don't agree though. I don't think,
I'm with you. It shouldn't be that way.
It doesn't work.
It is. I have been watching the new Scrubs. Look at us all
amazing.
watching like reboots. It's really good.
It's good.
Really good. It brings back proper classic Scrubs feeling. I strongly recommend for any Scrubs fans. Will?
Nice.
I finally finished F1.
Hooray!
And how did you find F1?
You're right. It's definitely a sports movie.
It is a sports movie.
But wow, what a fucking sports movie.
Of all the sports movies you have seen,
this is definitely one of them.
All right, what's better, F1 or Knight's Tale?
Oh.
Come on, you got to answer quicker than this. You have 3 seconds, otherwise I'm going to say you hate them both.
Knight's Tale.
All right then, Will, tell us about what we're doing today.
Role models.
Tell us about role models.
What a terrible role model you are.
Anyway. Oh, hang on. I'm really looking forward to this because some of these words are really difficult to say.
Oh, no.
Go, Will, go.
And I famously always pre-read this. It was directed by David Wayne. Oh, cool. Perfect. Known for cult classic comedies like Wet Hot American Summer. Why is that?
I love that movie. Have you seen Wet Hot American Summer?
I haven't yet, no.
It's really good. It's really good.
Paul Rudd not only starred as Danny, but also co-wrote the film. The LARP, and then in brackets, live-action roleplay scenes, were inspired by real subculture communities, giving those sequences surprising authenticity. Christopher Mintz-Please, McLovin from Superbad, plays Augie, leaning into his geeky screen persona. The film was both a commercial and critical success, helping cement its status as a late 2000s comedy favourite.
Well played, Will. Christopher Mintz-Please, is that?
I know. Do you know what? I've always said that as well for the last decade.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've always just said McLovin. So
yeah, I've always said McLovin, to be honest.
That was
it's much easier.
I was like, Christoph Waltz isn't in this movie. Oh, hang on, that's not what it says. So you guys have seen this movie before, and this is my first time.
Yes.
What's your relationship with this film?
I have to say I liked it a lot more then than I do now.
Then being 2008.
Back in 2008. Well,
Okay.
it must have been a bit later because we watched it in 2011, 2012.
Sure.
But yeah, liked it a lot more then than I do now.
Will, what about you, mate?
Do you know what? I think it's similar. I think I put down this film on the list.
You did, yeah.
Because I have really fond memories of this film. Just no nonsense, complete nonsense. Just film, not really takes itself too seriously. Just a bit of fun. But yeah, I think I did. The nostalgia must have been kicking a little bit.
The 2000s were a time.
They were a time.
For sure, they were a time. I actually enjoyed this film. I did. I think I kind of sat down and strapped myself in for like massive eye rolls and problematic humour. And then Stifler showed up, and I was like, all right, where I thought Sean William Scott had been erased from cinema by this point, but no, he was still there. And then Jane Lynch showed up.
Yeah.
And then Elizabeth Banks showed up. And then Ken Jeong showed up. And I was like, shit, all right, this is a fucking cast. And I couldn't figure out why these people weren't getting bigger parts. And that's because when I realised that this was pretty much their launch pad.
Yeah.
This movie, Paul Rudd's first writing chance, Elizabeth Banks' biggest role, Jane Lynch's first role, Ken Jeong's first role. So as much of this movie was fine, probably a strong 2.5 out of 5. You know.
Yeah.
It is, I think, quite an important film in comedic history.
Does one protagonist dominate the story?
So these questions are really intriguing to me, Tash, because I'd never really considered the idea of a dual protagonist versus solo protagonist. So I really had to kind of think about it. And I really think that they balanced this really well between who I actually see as the 4 protagonists, between Danny and Wheeler, and then the 2 kids, Augie and Ronnie. That being said, I don't really think any of them have a particularly good story.
Yeah.
Apart from Augie. That's the story that I really want to see. His almost arrested development and his relationship with his parents. I found that all quite fascinating, but everything else around it felt kind of stale, predictable, enjoyable and fun, but not really interesting. So, do I think one protagonist dominated the story? No. But there was only one story I cared about. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Where's your professional eye?
For me, Danny's story and arc is written as the standout.
Yeah.
So we focus on Danny for the most part and his relationship with Beth, and then his non-relationship with Beth and trying to get her back, and you kind of working with Augie, helping Augie in his situation, and kind of them helping each other to bring each other out. I kind of found his arc to be based on, while he was quite immature, and that's why Beth kind of ended it with him.
Yeah, he
had to find his inner child again to then grow up. I found he needed to reconcile something in his younger self to then develop.
Yeah, that's what I found kind of weird about it, because they made him like a bit of an idiot, but then made him really serious and rolling his eyes at the Augie and his son. I was like, you were just dressed up as a fucking minotaur. I mean, do you know what I mean? You were just being idiots.
And you just crashed a van and...
Yeah, and now you're all Mr. Serious. I found that a bit strange. But...
Yeah, I mean, I think his arc was meant to be the standout there. And then Wheeler came in kind of slightly behind that. I think he is a lot more static. I think he's more comfortable with himself. And his growth is more about growing in responsibility. I don't think Wheeler has a transformation. I just think he grows a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think this would have been the exact same film if Wheeler and Danny swapped places? Because I feel like the only reason that Wheeler doesn't have to change is because he gets Ronnie, who's exactly like Wheeler.
Yeah.
Whereas if Danny got Ronnie and Wheeler got Augie, I think we're looking at essentially the exact same film. Do you know what I mean?
I think so, yeah. I think what you've got is a protagonist and then a character foil next to him, and I think Wheeler's the foil.
Sure. Quick note for Ronnie's mum for the Worst Parent of the Year awards. Do not let your children talk to anyone in that way, let alone, strangers.
Ronnie, I hate Ronnie. I hate that child.
It was very much put there as the shock comedy, the 2000s thing, and I found that really kind of unbelievable. It's a bit of a far stretch for me to pull.
Yeah.
I could understand if he was doing it behind his mum's back, but he does it right in front of his mum, and his mum just kind of laughs it off, which I found a little wild. Will, what about you, mate?
I thought the whole thing was interesting. I think that Danny almost seemed like he was the main storyline. I kind of see it as, if you're looking at kind of a point from A to Z, he's just a straight line from the A to Z, and then Wheeler's kind of almost just spinning around at the same time. He's kind of just revolving off Danny. But I think I did prefer Wheeler's storyline. I think I'd have to disagree that he doesn't change at all. Does the dual structure strengthen or weaken the film?
The dual structure, I think, makes the film quite predictable. We have the classic best friends fallout makeup trope. I don't really think we needed Wheeler. Like I said, I don't think he achieves anything. And I think if you swap them around, we've got the same movie. We only had Wheeler there, I think, so that we had Ronnie, so we had this like big standout comic character there. So does the dual structure strengthen or weaken the film? I don't think it does either, really, because I'm not really even sure if it is a dual structure because they're so similar. I just see their stories as so parallel that it's hard to see it as a dual thing. What do you think, Tash?
Yeah, I think the structure does. I don't know. I've written here that it strengthens it, but now that we've sat here and talked about it, I'm kind of disagreeing with myself.
I must say, I am thinking a lot about this film. Like, I tend to think about films like if I think about them a lot afterwards, I clearly enjoyed them quite a lot because they've ignited something in me. But I'm not sure if I'm thinking about it more and liking it less.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think we need Wheeler. Like, and from that, we also don't need Ronnie. I think he's a completely pointless character that can get in the bin.
I feel like this film really is a turning point in comedy. And I think maybe that's why I'm thinking about it so much, because we have Sean William Scott and we have this like over the top Ronnie character, and then we have Paul Rudd and Elizabeth Banks and Jane Lynch on the other side with the actual comedy and the actual good story happening. And Augie, not Christoph Waltz. And it's like after this movie, Sean William Scott did pretty much nothing, whereas Paul Rudd, Jane Lynch, Elizabeth Banks went absolutely stratospheric. Crazy. So maybe I think the whole Ronnie and Wheeler of the situation are there for the 2000s audience, and like the rest of it is there for the future, you know, so that people like us scholars can get together and discuss the movie that is
about this movie,
role models.
Yeah, I mean, I think the comedy there, there was enough comedy in the ridiculous situations they found themselves in and how they interacted with each other. There was enough comedy there to carry the movie, and I didn't see why Wheeler and Ronnie did need to be there. And I think there could have been a lot more character development for Danny and then Augie, and we could have seen more of that Augie story that we all clearly want.
Yeah, definitely, and I think his relationship with Beth as well. I think you put this down.
Yes, yeah,
Elizabeth
I wanted
Banks'
more
character, I mean, if she was in Wheeler's character spot instead, like maybe her and Danny were the ones that got the community service. I think we got a better story there. And again, just give me more Jane Lynch, just all day.
Yeah, she was great.
Will, what about you?
I think the answer to the question is both. It sort of strengthens and weakens it, and that's such an awful answer.
I think maybe both.
I think maybe both. I think that the two different comedy types are for two different audiences almost. When I watched this film back in 2012, 2013, what it was, I probably did think Wheeler and Ronnie were really funny. And I think, he's saying the word boobs on telly. That's really funny. Yeah. And then wasn't that interested in the Danny and Augie storyline. And then now I'm watching it at the ripe old age of 31. I'm more interested in Danny and Augie's story when watching that. I actually kind of felt that like more emotive and more funny. I think they're just, two very different comedy types, maybe maturity levels almost.
I think talking about maturity in comedy is a really interesting thing, because I don't think comedy needs to be mature to be good. Like there's plenty, like you look at someone like Bob Mortimer, his comedy style is not mature in any way, but it's also not just saying boobs. It's still clever in an immature way, and I just don't think making kids say fucking give me titties is that funny.
I think there's more creative things you could do with comedy.
Yeah, and I'm surprised at Paul Rudd as well. Like, Paul Rudd is clearly...
We're disappointed in you, Paul Rudd.
Yeah, and I feel like he's pandered to his audience. Like Will was saying, I think he has gone, oh, hang on, we need to have something silly in here for the idiots to enjoy. Whereas, had he not gone down that route, then we may have been talking about, like, one of the great comedy movies. Because there's so much excellence. Like, this film really did make me laugh out loud, like... Almost
the LARP
every
stuff
5
was
minutes.
Amazing.
Yeah, and everything with Jane Lynch in there just makes me cracks up. You know, cocaine for breakfast, cocaine for lunch. Guess what I have for dinner? But then she also made everyone else great as well. Like she made Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott funny, and that is not an easy thing to do. Sean William Scott is famously not good at anything.
Apart from being an American Pie.
Apart from being in America. I mean, he does have one of the most iconic characters in
he
movie
does,
history,
but that's it.
But also one of the most problematic. And I think just him being in the film dates it to that kind of that problematic era.
It's interesting you're saying a shame about Paul Rudd. I honestly thought, as you said, that this was almost his launch pad, but I didn't realize he was an anchorman before this film.
Yeah, very small role in Anchorman though, and he's part of the like one of the crews, isn't he? So he's literally like a side character of a side character. You know, like Elizabeth Banks is in a couple of things before this, as is Jane Lynch and as is Ken Jeong, but this was their real kind of like notable moments, particularly Paul Rudd writing it as well.
And then Jane Lynch went on to Glee.
She's so good in Glee. Have you seen Glee?
Yeah, I've seen a bit of Glee.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing in everything.
Yeah.
I think she's one of the most underrated actors in movies, as is Paul Rudd, I think. As is Elizabeth Banks isn't underrated, is she? She's quite highly rated these
she's
days.
just great.
Can we separate the film's comedy from its problematic humour?
Can we, Will?
Yeah, I think Will should answer this one. This is your film, Will.
Oh.
How do you find all the problematic jokes of the 2000s?
I mean, to be fair, when I first read this question, I went, problematic humour? There's no problematic humour. And I'm like, oh, actually, there is a little bit. Can you separate it? I think so. I think for the time, if you're looking at other films around that same time period, it's very much of its age. And for the same reason, we look at other comedies of that same time and go, yeah, you can watch it, you can enjoy it, and you can even say you like the film, but you just... yeah, you don't encourage those bits and acknowledge that, yeah, not appropriate anymore.
I think this is another reason why I see this film as like a turning point in comedy, because there are, like you said, there are two different types of comedy here. There is the problematic, there's like the homophobia and the sexism, but there's also no, and this sounds ridiculous to say, there's no sexual assault in this film, which is rare for a 2000s film starring Seann William Scott. But I'm coming across like such an SWS hater today, aren't I?
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah. But it did feel... because the real humour in this film comes from the non-problematic parts. It comes from what scenes which I assume are improvised or ad-libbed between Jane Lynch and Paul Rudd. And obviously Ken Jeong is a fantastic like facial actor and physical comedian. So I think we can separate it because it's not the dominating factor. It's not the main point. What do you think, Tash?
Yeah, I agree. As I said earlier, I think there's a lot of humour that comes from just the characters and the situations that they're in, and the sarcasm that comes all the way through is very well done. I think the gay jokes, the casual sexism that goes into it is just baked into the tone. It's a 2000s comedy movie.
Yeah.
And I think you can, again, like Will said, you can separate it when you're watching it now. You just got to acknowledge that, yeah, that's not okay.
It is representative of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be a bit like watching 12 Years a Slave and saying, oh, it's a bit problematic because of the slaves. And I realised that gay jokes and slavery aren't the same. But this is what we were like in the 2000s, and I say we because we were. And it's sometimes it's important to have these films and to watch
look
them,
back and think, wow.
Yeah, I'm pleased that the world is different now.
How does this compare to a single protagonist comedy film of the 2000s?
I think Role Models is less tightly focused than films like 40-Year-Old Virgin and Superbad. I think there's more variation around the theme. I think if you're looking at 40-Year-Old Virgin, you have a 40-year-old virgin who's trying to lose his virginity. There's like one solid thread going there. Whereas with this, you've got the dual protagonist. Well, we've kind of discussed whether they're dual protagonists or not, but you've got the two guys, and then you've also got lots of sub-stories going on and B-stories going on, like their relationship with Augie's relationship with his parents. You've got Beth and Danny's relationship. You've got the Wings project. I can't remember its name. Sturdy Wings. That's going on in the background as well. So I quite like the different themes that were going on throughout this whole movie.
There is a lot happening.
There is a lot happening.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, a lot of focus. So I think that's quite interesting in itself. And it broadens the exploration of adulthood and mentorship, which does mean that we lose kind of narrative cohesion a little bit. I mean, some of it is all over the place because there is so much going on.
How much of that is to do with the writing, with the actual like screenplay itself, and how much of it is to do with the way the film is edited together and the performances? Can you tell?
It starts with the writing, because that's where you structure the narrative. And as we said, I think if you removed Wheeler and Ronnie, I think you would have had a lot more of a coherent narrative, because you'd have the thread of Danny trying to redeem himself, having a relationship with Augie and helping him through his difficult relationship with his parents. That would be like the main thread, and then the B story would be his romantic relationship with Beth. So I think you'd have the cohesion there through the general structure. And then plus when you're filming it as well, you do have the chaos that goes along with it, and there's a lot kind of bouncing back and forth, and you've got LARP going on randomly in the end. So
I find it interesting, the you talk about Danny's relationship with Augie. See, I think he took to him really, really quickly.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be against him the whole way, but the very, very first LARP that they did, he's like, "Fuck you, you're not the king." Like he was on Augie's side straight away, although not necessarily
in the right way.
Yeah, it is. I think that is a really interesting story, and
I think there was a lot more potential with that. And if Rudd and co-writers had concentrated on that, we would have a much better narrative movie.
I would love to know. We were having this conversation earlier, Tash, about knowing the how things are written. I would love to have been in that writer's room and known who was responsible for which parts. Like who was pushing the Augie and Danny story, and who was saying, "Yeah, but we got to get Stifler in there, and we got to have boobs." Because there would have been someone in there saying, "Yes, that's gonna sell T-shirts." Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not a huge fan of the comedies from this era.
Yeah,
I was at the time, because they were very much of the era. But even you look back at them now, like your Anchormans and your Dodgeballs and all that kind of silliness, I find them now quite hard to believe, because they're almost like fantasy films. I don't think a comedy should ask you to suspend your disbelief that much.
No, I don't think it's that sort of movie.
But this isn't. This is what I mean. This is a lot more grounded. It's a lot more believable. It's a lot more relatable. Apart from Ronnie, and that's why I like it. And again, we talk about this turning point in comedy. And this is again why it's a real story and not a kind of stupid over the top like Anchorman. Anchorman gets so much love, but it is fucking stupid, isn't it?
It is very stupid.
It is so stupid.
It's so stupid.
And like Dodgeball again. Yeah. Dodgeball's really stupid.
And like Zoolander. That's stupid.
They are just stupid, and like I really don't like Zoolander. I think that's a terrible film. And like we go back to like the OG, like American Pie, which really started off this whole run. American Pie is obviously an extremely problematic film, but it was believable in its time. And they just kind of, I think everyone felt like that to turn it up to 11 constantly, just to like more catchphrases, more ridiculousness, and it's just not necessary. And all I can say is thank the heavens for Paul Rudd.
Yeah, we love you, Paul Rudd.
Forever and always. What about you, Will? Are you a big fan of the noughties comedies? I mean, this was your film.
I'm kind of quite petrified now, because I'm looking through a list of noughties comedies, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like my entire mental bank of good films. And I'm quite worried that now watching this and thinking that this was like the most amazing film ever, which is why I put it on the list, and now watching it and going, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm concerned to now go back and watch all of these movies that I've now previously liked. Maybe I should just leave them in nostalgia bank where they live happily.
Well, I think it's interesting, like because you're so very, very young, Will, is like no joking aside though, because I am like pretty much 10 years older than you, so I did watch these films when they came out, and then I have watched them again since and been older. So that maybe has changed, because I've had the opportunity to kind of like sit on it and rewatch and go, ugh. But I loved them all. I loved them all at the time, and I was, drinking in a field and saying, if you can't dodge a wrench, you can't dodge a ball. I still quote that movie now, urine, necessary. Is it necessary to drink my own urine? And it will still make me laugh, but quotability doesn't make a good film. We had this conversation about Napoleon Dynamite.
I've been thinking about this so much as we've been sitting here. The movies back then were just memes. Yeah. That's all they're just a collection of memes, and you pick out your favourite parts of the movie. Those are your memes. You get on the school bus, you go to work, and you just quote them at each other, and you go, haha, that's from that movie we saw together. And that's all they're for. I don't even know if they're designed to be good movie pictures, really. They're just meant to be, this 10 seconds will be funny, and they'll remember that. And I feel like the rest of the story is just supporting those quick quips that they make each other, like when they're walking down the high school corridor in the beginning and they're like, I got it from your mum's closet. I've seen that so many times since on Instagram and that, but again, it's just the rest of the film is just holding up those small pieces.
Yeah, but like films now are just action figure adverts.
That's true, yeah. I mean, I think the 2000s comedy is having a resurgence. There is now a film on Amazon Prime called Balls Up, and it's about a condom that covers your penis and your balls. That is the story.
Okay. I mean, don't knock it.
And it has many penis jokes.
Penis jokes are funny as long as they're
but they sounded very early
respectfully.
2000s.
Yeah, I mean, this does happen in all kinds of art, doesn't it? It's cyclical because the people making the movies now are people that enjoyed the 2000 comedies.
Yeah.
But don't forget, there are also films like Don't Look Up. Have you seen Don't Look Up?
I love Don't Look Up.
One of my favourite comedies, and that's a
great film.
That's a bit ridiculous, and it is very far fetched, but it's very clever and it's very funny, and it's more about satire than whatever we describe.
Whatever this is.
Satire.
Will, do you think? Sorry, I'm asking you to compare another two films now. What's better, Role Models or Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh, God.
So many long silences that I'm giving you. I'm so sorry, mate.
Do you know what? I think I can answer it quite quickly. I think I'm going to shamefully say I think I prefer Role Models, but I think Napoleon Dynamite is just so much less problematic that even saying I like Role Models now makes me feel a bit uncomfortable almost.
It's not that bad. I think it's fine to like this film. I think there are much worse films.
You've role model shamed me.
No, I haven't role model shamed you. I've been saying that this movie is a turning point. This is the movie that changed, I think, the 2000s comedy. I really do. The more I look at like the timeline of films from this era, the more I see the change happen at this very, very point. And I think it does. It's no coincidence that Elizabeth Banks is now a massive writer in Hollywood, and she was started in this movie. It's no coincidence that Jane Lynch is now like a producer as well. Like these are big names in movie making now, and they started at this corner point. Pound for pound, though. Napoleon Dynamite the whole point about Napoleon Dynamite was its $40,000 budget. Would you like to guess the budget for this film?
Oh, it'll be in the millions.
Okay, well, how many millions, Tash?
5.
$5 million from Tash. Will, how many millions do you think it was?
Considering one of the facts I read out was that they use an actual LARP kind of a society, I'm going to say it's less. I'm going to say it's probably like 1.5 or something.
1.5 million.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
$28 million.
Disgusting.
That can't have taken $28 million to make, surely.
$28 million, and it grossed 67, so it was successful.
Okay.
But you have to remember that.
What the hell did they spend it on?
Wages?
Probably Sean after American Pie.
This is it, yeah. Sean William Scott was a big deal back then. I mean, he did almost nothing since or even before that, really, apart from American Pie and American Pie 2, American Pie 3, American Pie the Wedding, American Pie the Reunion, American Pie Whose MILF Is This? But yeah, I can't even remember what the question was we were meant to be asking. Something, is it better or worse than the other single protagonist movies of this time? I mean, I think this is better. I think this is one of the best comedy films of this era, but I think that bar is extremely low.
So, does Role Model successfully use dual protagonists to tell a coherent story?
I'm gonna go first on this one, Tash, and I'm gonna very, very confidently say yes, it does. Role Models does use dual protagonists to tell a coherent story. That being said,
yeah,
it's not a brilliant story, and there's no difference between the two protagonists. What do you think, mate?
I agree. I think yes, it does tell a coherent story, but it doesn't tell a good story. It tells a terrible story. And if we put Ronnie and Wheeler in the bin, we'll be absolutely fine.
It tells a terrible story. That's scathing.
It does tell a terrible story. It's awful.
Okay. So are you full out saying you don't like this film?
I don't not like it. The story's bad. The narrative is bad.
Right. Okay. So it's a bit like a tepid cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like it'll do, but I'm not going to order another one.
Yeah.
And like a tepid cup of tea, it was good at some point, and now you're just looking at it like, do I?
I know. I'm sad because I used to absolutely love this film.
Yeah, but I mean, you probably also used to love, Teletubbies.
That's true. I mean, I didn't like the Teletubbies. Actually.
You get what I'm saying though. Like
we
do mature out of things, particularly comedy. I think I'm really worried about going back because like Fight Club is one of my favorite films ever, but I haven't watched that since my like early 20s. I'm really scared about watching that movie because I know that film gets a lot of sarcastic kind of like bro hate, and I get it, but hey, there's just more space in your movie bank now for better films. Will, do you think Role Models tells a coherent story using dual protagonists?
Unsurprisingly, I think it does. But to be honest, there are a lot of dual protagonist stories of that time, especially comedies, and who probably might do it better, if not as well.
Go on.
It's just not really
Have you got some examples for us?
Starsky and Hutch, 100%.
I was thinking Starsky. Starsky and Hutch feels like a PG version of this now, I think about it.
Yeah, but that's borrowed, isn't it? That's not original content.
Okay, let me raise you one.
Have you seen it?
I think I did see it, yeah.
No, it's one of my favourite films. That.
Cool, I'm not putting it down, but like, it's not an original story, is it?
No,
it did already exist.
It did, yeah, but not as a comedy.
Step Brothers.
Oh yeah, Step Brothers.
No, but Step Brothers is stupid.
Knocked Up.
Knocked Up. Elizabeth Banks came after this. Did it come after this or before Role Models?
I think the same time.
Role Models was 2008.
It was 2008. I'm pretty sure it was after this with Seth Rogen, wasn't it?
2007 is Knocked
Up.
Oh,
okay. Well, I mean,
before.
Again, Elizabeth Banks and Seth Rogen, two absolutely massive hitters these days. Any other ones you got for me?
Does Me, Myself and Irene count as dual protagonists, or is it four of them?
Now that is an extremely problematic film. Have you watched Me, Myself and Irene recently?
Not in the last decade.
Oh my God.
Was this the one you showed me and I told you to turn it off?
It is.
I think
isn't
even
it?
back then,
I think I told you to turn it off. It was awful.
It is wonderful, but it is very much of its time. Vagiclean? I'll check on Vagiclean. Yeah, oh God. I can't wait to watch some Jim Carrey with you guys. I really can't.
White Chicks.
I haven't seen White
that
Chicks. That sounds problematic to me.
It's very problematic.
Yeah.
But I love that film so much.
Okay. I wonder how many of the things we watch now will be considered problematic in the future. Or is it none? Have we solved problems?
Society continues to learn. I'm sure there's some things we're probably going to end up saying on this podcast that are wildly inappropriate in 50 years' time.
No, I hope so. Imagine if people are listening to our podcast in 50 years' time. Just out of the wreckage of the world that once was.
Guys, hit us up if you're listening in 2070.
Yeah, how's the nuclear fallout?
Yeah.
Is Trump just a robot now? What are you lovely folk watching this week? I am watching, hopefully I'm going to be finishing Yellow Jackets.
Ooh.
Which is good. It has got me. It is creepy as hell. It is what From should have been. And I would recommend Yellow Jackets.
I might give it a chance.
What are you guys watching?
I want to watch Practical Magic.
Off of the 90s?
I've never seen it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen it, and I'm intrigued. Very random one out there.
Who's in Practical Magic? Is it
Sandra
Selma
Bullock?
Blair?
Sandra
Bullock.
Bullock's in it, isn't she?
Similar.
Yeah.
Okay. Will, are you watching anything?
The Boys.
Oh,
I haven't started it yet.
Yeah.
And like it was one of those decisions where you go, do you wait for them all to build up and then you just get all of it done in one big splurge, or do you just go for it weekly and go? You just have to keep.
We need
up
to do that with
it,
The Pit, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, I am going to be finishing The Pit. By the way, yeah, I love The Pit. Actually, that's the question I was going to ask you. So I have watched The Boys and Testaments. They came out at the same time.
Yeah.
And I've decided that I want to watch more TV weekly. Shows that are deliberately released weekly.
Yeah.
I'm going to start watching them weekly because I think that's how we're supposed to enjoy them. And it will give us a chance to kind of like sit and think and mull it over. I think we do too much binging. I think some things are fine. Like The Pit, but The Pit is perfect for binging. But I think some things you need, like when Homelander, lasers an entire plane, I think it's time to sit for a week.
See, this is what I enjoy about Severance. When Severance came out, it was a weekly thing.
Yeah.
And that's great because you will literally wait till the Friday and you'd be like, right, Severance Day. We actually called it Severance Day.
I can't imagine watching that all in one go.
No,
actually.
it's a lot to watch all in one go. So
that is the excitement. Do you know what? As you were discussing weekly, I kind of think that's an insane idea. That's just boring. But now I think back at Severance, that just would not have been the same experience on tenterhooks each week, waiting to find out what happened.
What I would absolutely love is if I had 5 shows a week that I watched weekly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be so good. But I mean, I think we're going to come close with The Boys, Testaments and Euphoria. But I'm not sure how much that overlap's going to be. Anyway, this has been a pleasure.
As always.
It's been fun as always.
I can't believe we went from Forrest Gump to role models.
I know, what a jump.
Incredible jump.
Jump or plummet? You decide. This isn't flying, it's falling.
With style.
No, it's just falling.
Oh. Toy Story next, guys. No?
Is it? I don't know
it's
what's
not.
next.
Lego Movie next, guys.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hope that's not problematic. Imagine.
Everything is awesome.
It's going to be nostalgic for me.
See you later.
See you later.